squash his beef with Yo like he did everybody else. I think it's more so about the girl, his wife, and no disrespect to her, but would you be willing to squash some beef with somebody who had sex with your wife? You know, maybe while you was in prison, I don't know when it was or whatever.
Oh Lord.
It's supposed to be your friend.
It looks like the Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane beef is back brewing after Pooh come home and Gotti over his own CEO that helped create him on some snake-ass shit. Behind all the success.
What I don't agree with is if you gon' stop rocking with Gotti, how you gonna keep rocking with the broad? You supposed to cut both. If one on did some snake shit, the other one did. But you're gonna have a sucker attack and keep rocking with the broad and stop rocking with your homeboy. Nigga, the bitch supposed to win first. That's why I said that nigga's a straight goofy. And if Pooh Shiesty don't get him a Chinese name and call himself One Gone, he crazy as a motherfucker. Ain't no way I'm gonna be signed to a nigga that let the broad run the bank account, his social security number, and his phones. You gotta go through Keisha to talk to your boss. I can't make this shit up.
Success and CMG empire, Gotti was plotting on Pooh Shiesty while he was locked up, knowing damn well.
I know him for what? Gotti ain't need Pooh Shiesty. From the sounds of it, from his CEO having mental issues, don't run his own business, sound like he need Yo. That's what it sound like. And rightfully so. I mean, go over there and get your money. You a Memphis nigga. What you signed to this nigga from Atlanta for anyway? No disrespect to Atlanta, because I fuck with the A, but man, come on, man. I had roads lead through Memphis.
This would bring back the deadly beef that almost ended both their careers. The shocking truth behind how a simple record deal turned into street politics that's got the whole industry watching is more calculated than anyone imagined, and we're about to reveal it all. Now, before we break this shit down, let me keep it 100 with y'all boys. Social media been buzzing about Pooh Shiesty wanting out of 1017, and Yo Gotti been posting him up like he's already signed to CMG. Pooh Shiesty was finally coming home from his federal bid, and while he was locked up, the game changed completely. This young gangster was ready to get back to the money, but he wasn't expecting his own label boss to be acting funny with the bread. Now hold up before y'all start thinking this is just some regular contract dispute. This is about loyalty, respect, and two OGs who already got bad blood between them. But here's where it gets real spicy. When your biggest artist wants to jump ship to your biggest op, that's when business becomes personal. Let me take y'all back to when Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti was actually homies. We talking early 2010s when these two was running the South together. Both these dudes came from the trenches. Gucci from Zone 6 in Atlanta, Gotti from North Memphis, and real recognized real. See, this wasn't just some industry friendship for the cameras. These dudes had genuine respect for each other because they both came up the hard way. Gucci was already established as the trap king, but he saw something in Gotti that reminded him of himself. That hunger, that authenticity, that willingness to do whatever it took to make it out the hood. For y'all who wasn't around during that era, understand that collaborative mixtapes between two established artists wasn't common like it is now. When Gucci and Gotti dropped those tapes, it was like watching two legends at the top of their game pushing each other to be better. Every track was fire, every hook was memorable, and the streets was eating it up. But yo, this is where the story gets deeper than just friendship. October 17th, 2012. That date was everything to Gucci Mane because it represented his brand, 1017. He'd been promoting his Trap God mixtape for months, hitting every interview, every social media post, making sure the whole world knew he was dropping on that specific day. Now, in the industry, we know timing is everything. When you drop can make or break your numbers, especially back then when mixtapes was still moving units and getting real buzz. Gucci had this date locked in, and everybody in his camp knew this was his moment to solidify 1017 as a real force in the game. The marketing budget was already spent, the features was locked in, the distribution was set up, everything was pointing to October 17th being Gucci's day. The real kicker though, Yo Gotti announced he was dropping CM7, The World Is Yours, on the exact same day. Now, Gotti claimed he didn't know, But let me break down for y'all why that's some real questionable timing. These dudes was tight, they was making music together, and Gucci had been promoting this day.
You know, when I make these videos, and if it's somebody from Memphis involved, I try not to be biased, but it's hard for me to believe that Gotti didn't know that Gucci was gonna drop on 1017. The name of his label called 1017. And at the time, that was your homeboy. So it's just hard for me to believe that. I could be wrong though. But if I had to bet my money on it, I'm gonna say Gotti was lying on that one.
For months. How you not know your homies dropping the same day? According to Gotti, when he found out about the conflict, he was actually excited. He thought it would be dope for both of them to drop on the same day and shut the internet down. In his mind, this was going to be like a celebration of their friendship and their dominance in the South. But Gotti was thinking like a fan, not like a businessman. For y'all who might not understand the business side, let me explain. When two artists drop on the same day, especially if they got similar fan bases, it splits the attention, the streams, the sales, everything. It's like opening two restaurants right next to each other, both gonna eat, but neither gonna feast like they could have. But it gets deeper than just sales numbers. In the industry, your release date is your moment to shine, your time to dominate the conversation. When someone else drops the same day, especially someone in your circle, it dilutes your impact. Instead of all the blogs talking about just your project, now they got to split coverage between two releases. Plus, you got to think about the psychological aspect. Gucci had been building up October 17th as his special day for months. Having someone else, even a friend, share that spotlight felt like a violation of something sacred to him. So Gotti tried to reach out to Gucci about the situation, but Gucci wasn't trying to hear none of that. According to Gotti, he hit Gucci's phone immediately when he found out about the conflict, thinking they could work it out like homies. But Gucci didn't answer. Gotti tried again, still nothing. He even reached out to people in Gucci's camp, asking them to have Gucci call him back, but the phone never rang. And honestly, I can understand why Gucci was heated. Not only was his homie dropping on his special day, but Gotti had just dropped that I Got Racks remix featuring T.I. and Jeezy. And everybody knows Jeezy was Gucci's biggest op at the time. Gotti finally got through to Gucci after Gucci tweeted about the situation. The tweet was subtle but clear. Why would another artist put their mixtape out on 1017 if they ain't Brick Squad? You ain't me. Trap God. That was Gucci's way of calling out the disrespect without naming names. According to Gotti, they chopped it up on the phone and he thought everything was cool. He even changed his release date to October 18th out of respect. But during that phone call, Gucci wasn't even focused on the release date issue. He was heated about the Jeezy and T.I. collaboration. Gucci went on the radio and said, "My main problem with him is that he dropped his mixtape on 1017 and tried to ride my wave. Why would you drop it if you ain't on 1017? That's some real hurt right there because Gucci felt like his homie was trying to use his moment for clout. But here's where it gets real messy. Gucci dropped Birds of a Feather and said exactly this. I used to with Gotti until he turned into a buster. Let that sink in for a minute. Your homie just called you a buster on a record for the whole world to hear. Gotti was hurt by the diss, but he tried to take the high road at first. But eventually, Gotti had to respond. He dropped Have Mercy, and that was it. The friendship was officially over. The track wasn't as vicious as some diss records, but it made it clear that Gotti wasn't gonna let Gucci disrespect him without laying belt to ass. Now, this is where we got to address the elephant in the room. During a Breakfast Club interview, Gotti revealed that he had slept with Keisha Kayor, who's now Gucci's wife, while Gucci was locked up on a probation violation. Gotti said it like it was just part of the game. You know how the game go. I ain't know you was in love and all that. Let me break down for y'all how this situation went down. Gucci was locked up for violating his probation. He had only completed 25 hours of his required 600 hours of community service, so the judge revoked his probation and sent him to jail for a year.
Was handcuffed and taken to jail as after a judge revoked part of Radrick Davis's probation. Prosecutors complained that the rapper had only completed 25 hours of the 600 hours of community service he was ordered to perform.
Good afternoon, Fred. The judge said, judging by his record, Radrick Davis, otherwise known as Gucci Mane, is not a worthy candidate for probation. So the judge decided to end a portion of his probation and send him to jail.
While he was locked up, unable to defend his relationship or even communicate properly with Keisha, Gotti made his move. According to Gotti, He didn't know Gucci was serious about Keisha like that. He claimed it was just casual, just part of how things go in the streets. But that's some real snake behavior right there. Because even if you didn't know they were serious, you still don't mess with your homie's girl while he's locked up.
That ain't necessarily true. Like, certain niggas have 2, 3, 4, 5 different girls they dealing with. And if he ain't conveyed that to Gotti that Keisha was the main girl at the time when he went to jail, Gotti probably looked at her as just somebody he was knocking off. You know, me and my homeboys, we done hit some of the same girls several times. Nigga ain't having no smoke, creating no smoke about it. But you know, if it's your main girl, then I mean, you know, that's different. So, you know, if Keisha was his main girl at the time and that happened like that, then I can see him being upset. But you don't stop rocking with Gotti and keep messing with the bitch. Come on, man. You put gas on the nigga and honey on the bitch. That's crazy. Both of them got a roll.
The way Gotti talked about it in the interview made it even worse. He was laughing about it, acting like it was no big deal. But then Gucci ended up getting locked up in 2013, facing 20 years on 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon. The feds found weapons on him in 2 separate encounters, and with his criminal history, they was trying to put him under the jail, but that prison bid actually saved his life. When Gucci came home in 2016, he was a different person. Clean, focused, healthy, and not looking for no drama. He had lost 40 pounds in his first 2 months inside just from detoxing off the lean. He had a new baby, his label was doing better than ever, and he seemed like he was past all the petty beef. The old Gucci would have been on Twitter going crazy, dissing everybody, starting new beefs every week. But the new Gucci was about his business. He was making better music, signing better artists, and building a real empire instead of just talking about it. Fast forward to 2020, and Gucci signed this young gangster from Memphis named Pooh Shiesty. This kid was different. He had that raw street energy that reminded people of the old Gucci, but with a modern twist that connected with the younger generation. Pooh Shiesty's story was perfect for 1017. He came from the same type of environment that Gucci came from. The streets, the struggle, the hustle. But he also had that hunger that you can't teach, that desperation to make it out that drives the best artists. But then he caught a federal case and got locked up for conspiracy charges. In October 2021, Pooh Shiesty was arrested on firearms conspiracy charges and eventually sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. For most artists, that would be career suicide. Prison time kills momentum, kills buzz, kills relevance. During this time, Gucci made public statements about how much he missed Pooh Shiesty, how he couldn't wait for him to come home, how 1017 was holding it down for their star artist. Gucci even went as far as dropping almost everyone else from the label roster, keeping only Pooh Shiesty and Fugiano. But while Pooh Shiesty was locked up, the game kept moving. Other artists was getting bigger deals, the streaming numbers was going up across the industry, and the value of hot artists was skyrocketing. When Pooh came home, he realized his value had increased significantly. Now, this is where Yo Gotti comes into the picture. CMG has been on a signing spree over the past few years, picking up hot artists and giving them the deals they deserve. Gotti's been posting Pooh Shiesty on his social media, showing love and support. Not just casual posts either, we talking about real promotion, the type of posts that get millions of views and generate serious buzz. He even sent his biggest female artist, Glorilla, to do a song with Pooh. The timing of all this support wasn't coincidental either. Gotti knew that Pooh Shiesty's contract with 1017 was up for renewal, and he was positioning CMG as the better option. It was a calculated move by someone who understands the business better than most. According to sources close to the situation, when it came time to renegotiate Pooh Shiesty's deal, Gucci was offering numbers that were way below what Pooh was worth. We talking about lowball offers that didn't reflect the streams, the cultural impact, or the earning potential.
But I mean, I ain't surprised. I mean, I hope Pooh ain't surprised. Anytime your cousin Big Scar die, and instead of this clown ass nigga being focused on putting the man in the ground and giving him a good service, you texting the man girl and his family about sending the chain back. That cheap ass 1017 chain, that dual ass 1017 chain that Big Scar had. I ain't saying it was fake or nothing, but you know, there's plenty of other chains that I see every day that's hitting up dancing. And that chain that Big Scar had, it was decent. It was okay. But Wasn't nothing for you to be calling no nigga family about. Talking about you worth a couple hundred M's, calling about that G.I. Joe ass chain.
Industry insiders say the offers were insulting. We talking about deals that would have been appropriate for a new artist, not for someone who had generated millions in revenue for the label. It was like Gucci was trying to take advantage of Pooh's loyalty instead of rewarding it. Now, Gucci ain't the type to go on social media and start tweeting about his business. He's not internet like that. The old Gucci might have been on Twitter going crazy, but the new Gucci handles his business behind closed doors. But sources close to the situation say he's not happy about Gotti trying to poach his biggest star. And honestly, who would be? You invest in an artist, help build their career, give them their first real opportunity, and then your op tries to steal them when they get hot. That's like raising a kid and then having your enemy try to adopt them when they become successful. From Gucci's perspective, this is probably feeling like deja vu. Once again, Gotti is trying to benefit from something that Gucci built. First, it was trying to ride his wave with the October 17th release date. Now it's trying to steal his biggest star.
Gotti trying to steal Pooh. Gotti just let Pooh know that the door open. You a Memphis nigga. All roads go through Memphis. You should have came to CMG first anyway. Why you didn't, I don't know if Big Boogie played a part in it because, you know, Shiesty and Boogie had issues in the past, and I don't know if y'all noticed, but since Pooh been home, he ain't been dissing Boogie. And Gotti most definitely wouldn't sign Pooh to CMG before he did their beef and squashed their beef and got them to sit down with each other. It just wouldn't happen.
But the game has changed since their original beef. Back then, both artists was more or less on the same level. Now Gotti's got a bigger platform, more resources, and arguably more industry respect. CMG is seen as one of the hottest labels in the game, while 1017 has been struggling to maintain relevance outside of Pooh Shiesty. The real question is, what's Pooh Shiesty thinking? On one hand, you got loyalty to the label that gave you your first shot. Gucci believed in him when nobody else would, gave him a platform, and helped him become a star. That type of loyalty is supposed to mean something in the streets. This whole situation shows how the game has changed. Back in the day, if you had beef with someone, you stayed away from their people. Now, it's all about the bag, and loyalty comes second to opportunity. But in the streets, some things never change. Disrespect is still disrespect. If Pooh Shiesty leaves 1017 for CMG, it sends a message to other artists that loyalty only goes so far. If your label isn't treating you right, there are other options out there. That could lead to a wave of artists demanding better deals or jumping ship to labels that value them more. If you want to see more content breaking down the business side of hip-hop and the real stories behind...
Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video. Y'all think Pooh should stay at 1017 or y'all think he should go and go to CMG? Or what? Y'all please hit the like button, share, subscribe. I'll catch y'all on the next video. I'm out.